we get this right, because this is,
Yes.
not gonna have to say it. This is very important to us as we go forward, but since we're not going to meet until middle of July. So thank you for that.
Gotcha.
So, Mr. Chairman, just before you call the meeting to order, back to what Nicole said, because the resolution from Eric does have that change to item 11, we're going to have to update that tomorrow morning once I get there, for Mindy to deal with, to get all of her part done. So we will handle that tomorrow in-house.
Okay, and I will be there, like I said, somewhere
Yes.
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock time frame.
Yep.
So
We'll
okay.
have it all pulled together by then.
Okay. Okay, I hope so, because I'm struggling with pulling it together. Never mind. Okay.
No, you're good.
All
I
right.
have budget meetings tomorrow too, so we'll get on it when Mindy and I.
Okay. At 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the Isabella County Board of Commissioners regular board electronic meeting of June 15th, 2021 to order. If we could please, call stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Clerk Lux, a roll call vote of the board members, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Present, reporting from my home remotely in Nottawa Township, Isabel County.
Commissioner Engler,
Present, and I'm participating remotely from my home in Deerfield Township, Isabella County, Michigan.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Present, participating from my home in Chippewa Township, Isabella County, Michigan.
Commissioner Marino,
Present, participating remotely from my home in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Isabella County.
Commissioner Swaney,
Present, attending remotely from my home in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Isabella County.
Commissioner Hope,
Present, I'm attending from my home in the city of Mount Pleasant, Isabella County.
and Commissioner Horton.
Present, I am attending from my office in Big Rapids, Michigan, Nakasta County.
All are present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux. Next up, approval of the agenda. We have a general public comments. We have nothing under presentations and special reports. We have nothing under appointments to boards and commissions. We have a consent agenda. Is there anything anybody like to remove from that? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move to committee reports. First up, Finance and Administration Committee.
Finance and Administration is all set, Mr. Chairman, with the addition of one motion that we will call number 3, which will be moved to approve the borrowing of up to $6 million from Isabella Bank and Trust for Bond Anticipation Note Resolution number 21-06-02 and authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of Isabella County.
Okay, we have that. Then we'll move that as item number 3, and then we'll move the rest of the items down to 4 and 5, if that is correct with all the Board of Commissioners. And as a point of clarification, Margaret, do we have to add anything to item number, I cannot remember what we talked, and item number 2, is there any type of language we have to add in that motion?
I'm going to ask a question. I'm sorry not to answer your question directly. I want to make sure I'm right. Mindy and Nicole, I'm sorry, Clerk Lux and Ms. Frost, do we need to change any of this that we're aware of?
No, I think the revision is in the resolution. It's still resolution, the same number, 21-06-02. So it's all clear in the meeting that we've revised the resolution, and I think the motion can stay the same.
I agree. Clerk, do you agree, Mindy? Okay. Yes, sir. The 3 of us are triangle agree.
That is the Robert's Rules of Orders and everything else. Thank you very much for all that clearing up. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee is all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Next up, Human Resources and Public Works Committee.
Human Resources and Public Works Committee is all set, Mr. Chair.
All right, under Intergovernmental Affairs, Commissioner Hope, do we have anything to add under Intergovernmental Affairs?
We did have an intergovernmental meeting yesterday. I gave a report on that in the work session. If it's all right with you, Mr. Chair, I'll give just kind of a condensed version of that for the regular session.
Very good. I think it was a very informative information that you passed along, so I appreciate that. Next up, Administrator and Controller reports. We have nothing under that. Nothing under unfinished business, and under new business, we have the first item is the July 6, 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting. And I believe we also have something to add to that. Vice Chairman Hope, if you would like to add something to that, please.
Yep, I'd like to add item B, and that would be consider approving the extension for the cooperative reimbursement program agreement between the State of Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for a 2-year period ending September 30th, 2023, in the amount of $48,882 per year, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Thank you very much. Well, that will be added. Next up is under general public comments. We have announcements. The board will move into a closed session, and then we'll have the adjournment. I noticed too, also just to point out that we did move I think in the past, we had the closed session up at sometimes earlier in the agenda. With that, this time it looks like we moved it down, so announcements will come first, so people don't really have to hang around. I noticed that was a change that was made, so I just wanted to point that out to the commissioners and to the public, that we've recognized that sometimes these can go along and there's no sense making other people wait around if we can possibly avoid it to speed this up. So I thank administration for making that change. I appreciate that. With that, can I get an approval of the agenda, please?
So moved, Marino.
Support Sweeney.
We have a motion and support to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? All right, hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. We have an agenda. Next up, general public comments. Is there anybody out there for general public comments?
There is no one for general public comment at this time, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you very much. Next up, under presentations and special reports, we have no items there. Under appointments to boards and commissions, likewise, no items. Brings us to the consent agenda. Commissioner Hutchinson, if you would read that, please.
Sure. Motion reads, move to approve and place on file the June 1st, 2021 regular meeting minutes, the June 10th, 2021 Financial and Administration Committee meeting minutes, the June 8th, 2021 Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee meeting minutes, and the June 8th, 2021 Human Resources and Public Works Committee meeting minutes.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast are 7 ayes and 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux. Next up, we move to committee reports. Finance and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up is the May 28th, 2021 invoice list, the June 2021 invoice list, and the June 10th, 2021 adjustment list. Motion reads, move to ratify and place on file the May 28th, 2021 invoice list in the amount of $264,001.21. The June 4th, 2021 invoice list, the amount of $212,566.19, and the adjustment list dated June 10th, 2021.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve and ratify and place on file the May 28th, 2021 invoice list, the June 4th, 2021 invoice list, and the June 10th, 2021 adjustment list. Discussion.
Okay, so we reviewed these in the work session, but I'll go over them again quickly. The May 28th list includes our press and community services monthly equalization contract payment. Also our HATS biweekly animal control contract, a couple drain debt payments, one to Isabella Bank and one from Commercial Bank. The landfill groundwater monitoring report for the drain commissioner from Golder Associates Incorporated. KCI summer 2021 tax bill postage from Central Services, a couple of May public defender appointments, a refund of a PRE denial per state treasurer, and Redwood Toxicology Laboratory invoice for drug testing supplies for the trial court. Also on that list, down at the bottom, are COVID expenditures of $7,895.38. Moving on to the next list, the June 4th list, we have our Verizon Wireless monthly wireless charges of $7,594. JP Morgan Chase monthly credit card charges of just over $7,000. State of Michigan May Circuit Court transmittals, almost $8,000 there, $7,913. Land and Resource Engineering for Mission Creek Drain Engineering Services. And also Kenny Trucking and Excavating, some work at Saunders Drain Repairs, and Dice Excavating apparently did some work for the Parcher Drain Repairs. Wright Express FSC is our monthly gasoline credit card charges for the Sheriff's Department. Benford Land Services had invoice for the first installment payment for forfeiture title searches for the Treasurer's Office. Foreclosure purchase for the Treasurer's Office from Specialized Loan Servicing LLC. And finally, State of Michigan May District and Probate Court transmittals in the trial court in the amount of $23,174. And then COVID expenditures on that list amount to $751.45. And as we've been all along, we're tracking those COVID related expenses very closely. Moving on to the adjustment lists, the May 28th list is mostly the Gordon Food Service early payment discount we always see. And then we're also paying our City of Mount Pleasant Water Department bill early to avoid late fees, and our DTE Energy bill for the Sheriff's Office to avoid late fees there. A couple invoices increased due to entry errors were caught. And then an invoice decreased due to entry error. And annual check added for $19,900 for the Marine Patrol boat, compliments of the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe 2% distribution. So again, thank you for the tribe for that. I'm sure that's critical for our Sheriff's Department in patrolling the waters in the county. And then the June 4th invoice list. We had early payment discounts for Gordon Food Service again, and then a couple invoices decreased due to sales tax being mistakenly added. And that covers it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Hope. Any further discussion on this motion and support thereof? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Delzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Moreno,
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast are 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
The second item for the committee is resolution number 210602, bond anticipation note. Motion reads, move to adopt Isabella County Board of Commissioners Resolution 21-06-02, authorizing the issuance of bond anticipation note series 2021, declaring official intent to issue said note in an amount not to exceed $6 million and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support.
We have a motion and support to adopt Isabella County Board of Commissioners Resolution number 21-06-02, bond anticipation note. Discussion.
We've been incurring costs in the terms of engineering and architectural design for the proposed new sheriff's office and correctional facility. And that amount, I think at current exceeded $2 million, plus we're looking at property purchase. And having made those expenditures, it has created a cash flow problem that needs to be resolved so that the county can move forward and maintain its obligation to all its vendors and employees. So this note, while not the final bond for that jail project, is a temporary note. I think it has a 3-year payback period or shorter, but it will allow us to make the finances of the county whole again. And we not only will have enough to cover what we've spent so far, but we'll have some additional monies to cover some additional expenses that'll be still coming in.
Okay, commissioners, any further discussion on this? All right, I think everything was said in the work session and by Commissioner Jelazinski. Hearing and seeing none. To add to this, Clerk Alexa, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast are 7 ayes and 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Okay, our third item, also related to the bond anticipation note, motion is move to approve the borrowing of up to $6 million from Isabella Bank and Trust per bond anticipation note, resolution number 21-06-02, and authorize the board chair to sign on behalf of Isabella County.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the borrowing up to $6 million from Isabella Bank and Trust per bond anticipation note, resolution number 21-06-02. Discussion.
So this basically satisfies the bank's requirement of another motion approving the action of borrowing the $6 million.
Okay, and per discussions earlier and everything with our our council and everything, this meets, I think, approval. And Administrator Controller Margaret McAvoy has had discussions with Isabella Bank, and this is what they requested too. So I've got nothing further to add. Any further discussion among commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Item number 4 is the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Motion reads, move to approve the $4,706,429 in American Rescue Plan Act funds to be reimbursed to Isabella County for $16,969 of COVID-19 expenditures, $1,132,172 in public safety payroll, and $3,557,288 lost revenues.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the $4,706,429 in the American Rescue Plan Act funds to be reimbursed to Isabella County. Any further discussion? Oh, excuse me, further discussion, please.
So this is our first draw on the first tranche of federal funding that came our way. And it seeks to recover the COVID-19 materials that were purchased It also provides for recoupment of public safety payroll and also lost revenue. The lost revenue is not only the county's general fund, but also, I'm trying to think of the terminology, but other funds that are associated with county government that have somewhat of an independence from county government. The lost revenue was using a calculator. Now I can't remember the name of the organization, but the association that Steve Kravenovich belongs to came up with a calculator, and it's one that is recommended by MAC for the counties to use to determine their financial loss. So, there's three different aspects of the fund, and this is, I guess this represents, like I said, 70% of the first tranche of available funds, but it should certainly improve our county fiscal health.
Thank you, Commissioner Jelezinski. Any further statements and comments by other commissioners? I do echo you getting those acronyms, the ARPs and the AIRPs. I'd say I just threw in an extra A in those and all those other things. So Commissioner Hutchinson, you had a laid hand up there.
GFOA, Jerry.
There you go. GFOA.
There you go. Okay, good. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelezinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Okay, item number 5 is fiscal year 2021 budget amendment DTRF. Motion reads, move to approve the fiscal year 2021 budget amendment transferring $800,395 from the delinquent tax revolving fund into the general fund and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the fiscal year 2021 budget amendment transferring $800,395 from the delinquent tax revolving fund into the general fund. Discussion, please.
Okay, so revenues for the county have been a little slow in coming in, largely due to COVID and things being shut down. And as we know, the bulk of our revenue comes from the July taxes. So we have a little bit of a cash crunch in the general fund. We have sufficient funds in the delinquent tax revolving fund to borrow from that. 800,300, not borrow, transfer would be a more correct word. $800,395 from that to the general fund. And as the chairman pointed out in the work session, if that DTRF fund gets to where there's not enough money in there to function at some point, if that happened, the board can address that if and when something like that happens.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Hope. Commissioner Jelezinski.
I was aware at our committee meeting when this item came up, I did ask administration if the county treasurer's office had been consulted concerning this $800,000 transfer budget amendment request. And the answer was no. Well, I was taken back by, I think Mindy made a comment at the end of the work session that to me indicated that perhaps the treasurer hadn't been invited to our work session. So I went back and I looked at the invite and I see all the people that had items on the agenda invited except for Mr. Pickens. And I guess I have a question for Margaret. She doesn't have to answer it today, but I'd like an answer at some point. And that is, it seems like there's purposeful actions or inactions to limit the information that this county board needs to make informed decisions. And I think when we're transferring over $800,000, we should have representation by that department, the manager of that fund, to be able to comment in some manner on it. And that didn't occur at the work session. And I was thinking that Steve was here because he received the email, but on the Zoom information, but he had not. But he was here anyhow. And it troubles me that somebody will purposefully limit the information that we need as a county board. That said, the things I picked up that Steve mentioned is last year we had originally proposed $500,000 to be taken from that fund to balance our current year budget. And that was not done as part of the budget action. But Steve, Mr. Pickens did indicate that had that occurred, he would not have had the funds necessary to make the taxes whole for those taxing units that depend on that. We'd have had to come up as a county board to make up that difference. And the other thing he said this year is last year he had $3 million in cash available to handle that. And I'm sure probably some other revenues came in. I don't know what the total obligation was, but this year at the same time, he only has 2 million. Well, he was going to come up short last year and he has less cash available this year, unless there's a bonanza, we're likely to come up short. But I'm also thinking, you know, this pandemic has been hard on families. Are we going to look at more individuals not able to pay their taxes? So those tax costs that have to be picked up by the delinquent tax fund, they're likely to go up. So with that, I'm going to be voting against this motion, thinking that we don't need it to balance our budget. We've taken 2 actions right now that should provide us with necessary funds to make the county's finances whole. And we should wait to see. I have not ever found that the treasurer's office has said no to working with the county board to cover expenses, to make some contributions to the budget, except for when they were looking at the lawsuit, Oakland County on seizure of property. And that subsequently was found in favor of the property owner. So we don't know what that impact is going to be yet either. But I'm very, very, very concerned about not getting the information that we need to make an informed decision. To eliminate one person for whatever reason, I'd like to have an explanation. Thank you.
Further discussion among commissioners in regards to this matter. Commissioner Swain.
I'd say that I do agree with Commissioner Jalozinski that Treasurer Perkins is head of the department we're taking the money from. I'd like to see him at subcommittees and at this meeting invited. I same standards as everyone else who heads the department. That said, I don't know that we get any good information right now from him, and I would like to have more in-depth conversations with him. Since I've been on the board, he just says that there's no money there, and it really feels like it's his treasure chest, and he doesn't want the public to, be using the money that is theirs. And if that's not the case, then he needs to explain better about what he's doing. But I can't have that opportunity unless he's invited here to talk to us. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any other further comments by commissioners? Commissioner Angley.
Yeah, I know we've been discussing this for a couple of years. I think I would like to actually wait a month or so until we get a little more information. I don't think, I said it doesn't seems to be, we've had this discussion several times now, and maybe we need to get a better understanding exactly where we're at on this. I think with the previous passage, I think we're all right for at least coming up. We're not in an emergency situation in this. So I'd like to get this settled so we're not doing this every year and having the same discussion over and over again. So I guess I'd like to hear what some of the other commissioners have to think about it.
Yes, any other commissioners have any comments?
I guess I would just say that I trust our administrator controller and Steve Granovic when they tell us that there's sufficient funds in that account. And I think it's common for counties to use their DTRF funds to sort of prop up their general funds. I don't think that's unusual. And then certainly right now we're in a little bit of a cash crunch. The other budget items were kind of for lost revenue and different specific things. This is to kind of bolster our general fund for right now. While we have a little bit of a shortage, a little bit of a crunch, I guess. That being said, I'm willing to try and foster a little better relationship with our treasurer and invite him to committee meetings. That point's well taken.
Commissioner Moreno.
Yeah, I've been on the board for a while. This is a common practice that we've done before. And I'll be voting yes on this. I agree with a lot of things that Commissioner Hope said.
Any further discussions among commissioners? Commissioner Hutchinson.
Well, being the new guy on the block, kind of bothers me both ways. I mean, that we haven't reached out, and if there is an issue there with working with that department, I think it's so important that as a county, that's part of our county, and that's a main clog in the department. So we do need to work with them. I do trust everybody involved going forward. I don't think anybody's trying to lead us down the wrong path here. With that being said, I'd probably vote yes tonight in support of what we've got going. But I do think it's so important that we work with the Treasury Department.
Thank you, Commissioner Hutchinson. Earlier today, I must admit that in our business session today, I probably got uncharacteristically, I will say, out of character. I guess uncharacteristic out of character is kind of a play on words, but I will reach out, like I said, again, to Treasurer Pickens. I believe that every commissioner here on this board and the pages I look at have the best interest in the county at heart. There's no doubt in my mind. And I firmly believe that Treasurer Pickens has that too. I do not doubt that. That being said, there has been some disagreements in regards to the delinquent tax revolving fund between the Board of Commissioners and Treasurer Pickens. So much so that it has become very contentious. And recently, it has been decided that the Board of Commissioners have the sole authority to act upon these funds as they see fit as Board of Commissioners. I think all the commissioners raised very good points. I do think there should be definitely there can always be disagreements. And again, that's a good thing. That gets different viewpoints out. I think my fellow commissioners are probably getting sick of me saying that to them every time I call them and talk to them. I think that's one of the things that I always try to stress is, hey, what's your opinion on this, or what's your take on this? And going forward as a board, I think that's very important. I also want to point out to the commissioners, there's been words such, and I think I use synonyms such as crisis, difficulties with our financial situation right now. Payroll is an issue, and any funds that we can transfer or get in, bring in to the general fund needs to be done to alleviate this problem. Things can be done going forward with the delinquent tax revolving fund. We have obviously in our jail budget for the repayment over the time frame, pulling money from these funds. So there's going to have to be cooperation and discussions with the county treasurer. I probably did some things earlier in our early meeting that, looking back, I'm not going to apologize or state the fact that I'm going to chalk it up as a rookie mistake. It's not. There are, and I think Clerk Lux put it forward to me very well that, department head, elected officials do deserve respect when they come and speak in front of the board. And I did not, I believe, initially show Treasurer Pickens some of that respect. Again, that being said, there has been disagreements with the board, with Treasurer Pickens, and I can't comment on anything further than that because that obviously that involves some litigation. But that being said, Board of Commissioners need to remember, and I'm sure I don't have to remind them, that they are responsible for they're responsible for the funds of this county, and they are solely 7 members make that decision. And this is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing to be in disagreement. So I'm going, as I mentioned earlier, in regards to this, I'm going to be in support of this. I would like to see us work together. I will be reaching out to any elected officials, and I will probably be getting in touch with several of them in the next few days to set up meetings, as we all can work together in the future, because we have got some significant good things with extra revenue coming in with the turbines, but we also have some issues with our jail and some other issues that are pressing. So again, we have to work, we have to become better, myself included. Probably if I point a finger, 3 point back. So, and that being said, I think we'll move forward with this, and I would, again, be supportive of this. So that's what I have to add to this conversation. So any further comments among board members? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
No, no.
Commissioner Jazinski,
No.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast are 5 ayes and 2 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Mr. Chairman, that does complete the work of the Finance and Administration Committee.
Thank you. Next up, Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Hey,
Sorry.
Mr. Swaney.
Yep,
you're up.
Yep. Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee, our first one up is FYI 2022 Adult Treatment Court Grant Application. Motion reads, move to authorize the submission of the fiscal year 2022 Adult Treatment Court Grant Application in the estimated amount of $126,672. Earlier in the work session.
Support,
Curtis-
Engler.
Sorry.
We have a motion and support to authorize the submission of the fiscal year 2020 Adult Treatment Court Grant Application. Discussion.
So earlier in our work session, Carrie Curtis and the director of the program, Mitchell, presented the grant application to us. It has increased from, I think it was 110,000 to 126,000 this year. Last year, they only got 88,000, still trying to get a little bit more especially for the drug testing this year, which is a higher expense. And of course, we got a little overview of the adult treatment program and how they're using it to also help people with their basic needs as they go through the program.
Very good. Any further discussion from commissioners? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
yes,
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
All right, item number 2, fiscal year 2022, the juvenile treatment court grant application. Motion reads, move to authorize the submission of the fiscal year 2022 juvenile treatment court grant application in the estimated amount of $107,621.54.
Support Engler.
We have a motion and support to authorize the submission of the fiscal year 2022 juvenile treatment court grant application. Discussion,
All right.
please.
So again, in the work session, they described their application process, and the amount has increased slightly, again, because of drug testing costs. This is, of course, the juvenile side of the treatment. I know that in our discussion subcommittee, juveniles, number of juveniles in the program are down, but they're hoping it goes up because of the COVID pandemic era. It was reduced amount of testing. So they anticipate an increase this year. And of course, we again got another description of the program.
Thank you. Any further discussion among commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
yes,
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
yes,
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Item number 3, fiscal year 2022 Swift Insure Sanctions Program grant application. Motion reads, move to authorize the submission of the fiscal year 2022 Swift Insure Sanctions Program grant application in the estimated amount of $205,000.
Support Engler.
We have a motion and support to authorize the submission of the fiscal year 2022 Swift Insure Sanctions Program grant application in the amount of $205,000. Discussion.
Again, the Swift Insure Sanctions Program, the people who are enrolled in this have been having a problem getting through the regular programs and meeting their meetings and the court dates. And so it's a sanctions program, but still they work with the individuals with their basic needs, such as transportation and getting jobs as well. So a full and well-rounded program. And again, this is a fully grant funded program.
Okay, any further discussion among commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Jazinski,
yes,
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
yes,
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Okay, item number 4, agreement with the Carpel Computer Systems, Inc. Motion reads, move to approve the agreement between Carpel Computer Systems, Inc., doing business as Carpel Solutions in Isabella County for prosecutor by Carpel Software, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support Swaney.
We have a motion and support to approve the agreement with the Carpel Computer Systems, Inc. Discussion.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit before. We've always been trying to keep updated with our software. This would really improve the prosecuting office, even though it's for part of the funding, and hopefully we'll get some grants to pay for the rest of it, but it's it's well needed and we need to keep upgraded in our systems.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
yes,
Commissioner Hutchinson,
yes,
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Okay, item number 5, fiscal year 2021 CESF grant agreement to prosecuting attorney's office. The motion reads, move to approve the fiscal year 2021 grant agreement between the Michigan State Police and the Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney's Office in the amount of $25,000 for federal pass-through coronavirus emergency supplemental funding, the CESF, and authorize the board to sign the same.
Support Sweeney.
We have a motion and support to approve the fiscal year 2021 CESF grant agreement prosecuting attorney's office. Discussion, please.
Okay, this was a grant that came available. It's a grant where you have to submit after you've already spent the money. The prosecutor didn't know if we would use it, but to apply for it and have the paperwork ready is probably well worth in case that need does arise.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Engler. Any further discussion among commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Jazinski.
just a quick question. I didn't think about this at the work session, but if this is used for like supplies, are you then allowed to pay for it out of this program and also charge it back to the other program? Or is it just a one charge?
Margaret, you have your hand up, but you're also muted. So,
Thank you. My understanding, Commissioner, is that no, the area that's been approved in the grant is for temporary employment. So you can't use it for other funds.
All right, thank you.
Other reasons, pardon me.
thank you for that. Thank you, Commissioner Jazinski, for that, asking that question. Any further discussion among board commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes,
Commissioner Hutchinson,
yes,
Commissioner Marino,
Yes. Commissioner
Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Okay, item number 6, the Patrick T. Horn and Marjorie A. Horn Farmland Agreement Application. The motion reads, move to approve the Patrick T. Horn and Marjorie A. Horn Farmland Agreement Application and instruct the Isabella County Clerk to forward the approved application to the Open Space Program.
Support Sweeney.
We have a motion and support to approve the Patrick T. Horan and Marjorie J. Horan Farmland Agreement Application. Discussion, please.
Yeah, we've seen these before. The paperwork seems to be complete and in order. And I guess that's all I need to say.
Okay. Any further discussion among commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
yes,
Commissioner Hutchinson,
yes,
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
Mr. Chairman, that completes the work of the Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next up, the Human Resources and Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our first item is Region 7 AAA request for proposal application and letter of support. The motion reads, move to approve the board chairman or designee to sign both the completed Region 7 Area Agency on Aging request for proposal, application, and letter of support on behalf of Isabella County Commission on Aging for funding for the fiscal year 2022, October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022, prior to the June 28th, 2021 deadline.
Support Hutchinson.
We have a motion and support to approve the Region 7 AAA request for proposal application and letter of support. Discussion.
Okay, there's a timeline on this. It's coming up pretty fast, and this is the way it usually is. The request is, I mentioned the dates. It's a 3-year contract that covers both in-home and nutrition services provided through Isabella County by Isabella County Commission on Aging. And it also marks the 49th year of continual service agreement and funding from Region 7 AAA to Isabella County and the Isabella County Commission on Aging. The total is $234,990.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I just want to say that programs like this that help out the elderly are just amazing. That in being the new guy on the block, didn't know that all these things went down, and this is just a great program. Hats off to everybody involved.
Commissioner Hope?
I'll just add that Commissioner Hutchinson, that was me a few years ago when I first got into this and figured out all the things that the county does. And our Commission on Aging is amazing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think other counties kind of look to our Commission on Aging as a model on how to do some of these programs.
Any other comments or questions on this?
Okay, all good statements by all the commissioners. I mean, that again, we're just echoing the praises of the Commission on Aging and what they do for the residents of our community who need their services. So it's a wonderful thing. So, okay, hearing and seeing no further comments. Clerk Lexa, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jalzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lex.
Okay, number 2, the third amendment to the MRF Joint Operation Agreement. Motion reads, move to approve the third amendment to the agreement for joint operation of the material recovery facility between the city of Mount Pleasant and the Isabella County, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the third amendment to the MRF, the MRF Joint Operation Agreement. Discussion, please.
Yeah, this is a program that actually started back in 2008, and it was amended in, I believe, 2013, 14. And this is to bring it to, so that we have an agreement with the city, a written agreement with the city, and sign it. And something that will be done every year. Hats off to the city for working with us, and this is a facility that does a lot of work, and we look to split a lot of the funds as far as repairs and operation.
Thank you. Commissioner Moreno.
Yeah, I just like I like the part that calls for automatic renewals until other party would provide 6 months written notice of termination, because we hadn't visited this for a long time, and that's kind of a nice housekeeping part there.
Agreed.
Any other commissioners? Yeah, just to mention, one of the things, the new committee that I am serving this year is on the Material Recovery Facility Committee along with Commissioner Engler. And it's interesting to hear everyone gets geeked about the price of some materials. This price has gone up and this price got up and dollars. I've never seen it this high. And then, then counter that with having to get personnel. There's a lot of ongoing, it's again, though, we talked about Commission on Aging. This is another thing that Isabella County has in our community for the benefit of the residents and the community. So I don't know what, not just, and it's to quote Chairman or Commissioner Engler, and that's all I'm going to say about that tonight. So thank you. Any further comments from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none, Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux.
With that, the work of the Human Resources and Public Works Committee is concluded, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next up, Intergovernmental Affairs. I actually get to turn to Vice Chairman Hope for tonight's reading of this. Thank you.
Yeah, so Commissioner Moreno and Administrator McAvoy and I met with officials from the city and the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe and Union Township. It was the first time we'd met in quite some time, so it was nice, even though it was Zoom, but it was nice to meet with folks. So we discussed COVID-19 impact on operations, which I won't go into in detail like I did in the work session. I'm going to give you kind of the Reader's Digest version here, but we did learn that Union Township and the tribe are working on a non-motorized trail from Pickard north up to Mission Creek Park. So that'll be nice. And long term, they're working with Mid-Michigan Pathways to connect Mount Pleasant with Clare. So that will connect us with the Pere Marquette Rail Trail up there. So that'll be nice. Also a loop around the entire city for cycling and jogging and walking and whatnot, non-motorized uses. Margaret gave a very good update on the jail. Talked about the site plan a little, which the township is looking at tonight. And then also talked about demolition of the old building to make space for increased parking and some green space there, possibly. We heard about plans for the Mount Pleasant Center from the city and the tribe. Eric told us that the tribe is possibly looking at some sort of memorial for indigent children that were forced to attend the boarding school there. We just to kind of keep that history alive, so we never forget some of the awful things that have happened to our indigenous people and people of color. The city's also kind of looking at possibly some residential and green space there. Margaret mentioned the 9/11 surcharge. That'll be on the ballot coming up. And then the Mid-Michigan Aquatic Center finally is kind of organizing their authority. The Union Township and in the city working on that. And then we kind of talked about American Rescue Plan funds going forward, and the consensus there was kind of that everyone's going to take their time and see what happens. And we also talked about meeting in September. We'll probably do that, and we'll try to meet more frequently, probably quarterly. And I just think it's so important that we keep meeting with the city and the township and the tribe like that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner Jazinski.
Commissioner Hope, in terms of the bicycle trail that you said would be around town, I remember reading probably 4 years ago, there was a plan to connect some of the tribal neighborhoods I don't know, it's down Remus Road. And then also there was one that was going to go south by the airport. Is that a particular route that might be on the drawing board for the future?
That is kind of on the drawing board, yeah, a route that would go up utilizing that connector that I talked about north of Pickard and over somewhere around Indian Pines Park and then southeast down the east side of the township, possibly past the museum there. And then somehow back over 127. Who knows how that's all gonna play out, but it will connect with the other trail that goes to Shepherd, Alma, Ithaca. That trail already has been extended all the way to the south end of CMU's campus there.
So it's probably too soon to dust off my bike to ride it from my home into the county board meeting in the future, right?
Not at all. I ride mine to county meetings. I ride mine everywhere. So you meet me here and we'll ride together.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion among commissioners? That was one of the more healthier discussions we've had, pardon the pun. Okay, next, if seeing none, I don't think there's anything action we have to take on that. That was just a discussion or a report. So we'll close that and move to the administrator controller area. There we have no business under that. Nothing under unfinished business. That brings us to new business. First up, July 6, 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting. Commissioner Jelezinski, if you would mind handling that, please.
Thank you. You already mentioned the title, so I'll read the motion. Move to cancel the July 6, 2021 Isabella County Board of Commissioners work session and regular meeting.
Support.
We have a motion and support to move to cancel the July 6, 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting. Discussion, please.
This is kind of a long-term action taken by the county board that the meeting that is held near July 4th holiday canceled. And so it hasn't been a negative in the past, and it gives everybody an opportunity to enjoy their families a little bit more during that week.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Any further comments by commissioners? Commissioner Hutchinson.
Just to let you know, my 40th anniversary is July 3rd. This gives me a chance to take my
Perfect.
beautiful wife somewhere.
Congratulations.
You owe us, Wally.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, anybody else? Hearing and seeing none. Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelezinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes,
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
thank you, Clerk Lux. Next up, Commissioner Hope, if you would not mind reading this one, please.
Not at all. The motion reads, consider approving the extension for the Cooperative Reimbursement Program, CRP agreement between the State of Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Isabella County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for a 2-year period ending September 30th, 2023 in the amount of $46,882 per year, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the prosecuting attorney's agreement. Discussion, please.
So this would be an extension of the current agreement that the prosecuting attorney's office has with the state. It helps the prosecuting attorney recoup some of the costs that they incur for neglect and abuse, legal services, and child support reimbursement.
Very good. Any further discussion from commissioners? Hearing and seeing none. Clerk Lux, a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelezinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast, 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux. That completes the business under the new business. That brings us to general public comments. Do we have any general public comments?
We have
I do see Treasurer Pickens with his hand up. Go ahead, Treasurer Pickens.
Well, I had a discussion earlier today in this meeting, and I've been willing to work with the boards. There's been a long line of discriminatory acts towards county treasurer's office, and I thought they would change with the new team that's in there. If you remember right, when I found $1 million budget mistake, I didn't attack you. I didn't bring it out in the public. I didn't ambush anybody. I sent you guys a private memo in making light of it. In that same sets of meetings, I asked you to consider the delinquent tax revolving fund, that the pending lawsuits that are out there. My fears were that there could be an enhanced liability out there. And lo and behold, you're probably familiar with the Raffelli case, it went unfavorable. Right next door to Isabella County, in Gratiot County, the Freed case has been unfavorable. The climate of the courts are leaning that way. Was part of my fears on why I asked you to not take DTR funds. I assured you that DTR funds were not going to be foolishly spent, that they would always be available there. I think the spirit of cooperation that the county treasurer has done over the years, can go back in the histories and you can see that I've been very cooperative in all those years. You're about ready to go into a closed session here concerning another lawsuit and other lawsuits that go that way. Again, I ask that you not take the DTR fund because of that and because of its that you're going to create in that fund. But you've got $1 million borrowed from child care fund, the MRF fund, and the community development fund right now because of cash flow problems. The admission of cash problems has been very, very quiet. If you remember, I sat on a quarterly report, and I didn't boaster, I didn't brag, I said to you as a heads up, please understand you only have $300,000 worth of cash here in your fund. Just as a heads up. And the turnabout was, the administration's on top of it. You look at the bottom line on that sheet, you'll see that we're not in trouble. We were in trouble. I was trying to give you a heads up on it, a nice way, a nice common way. But I got ignored again. So, the cash flow problems that you have been created through a series of other things as well. I don't think we can blame COVID to the full extent of this going on. I think you have plenty of funds that you have just received from the ARP funds and the reimbursements of other things. I look forward to meeting with you guys. I look forward to hopefully getting a better relationship. But I look forward to hope that when we say something that you at least look into it and don't take the one-sided approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Pickens. Nicole, do we have anybody else out there for general public comment?
We do not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to open it up for announcements. Any announcements, please? Commissioner Jelezinski.
I'd just like to express gratitude to the Conservation District. Last weekend, they had their hazardous waste collection. We have the MRF, which collects a lot of things, but they don't collect hazardous waste, tires, electronic waste. And I participated in 2 of those 3 programs this year. And it's great that the Conservation District does that. I see in the last 2% allocation, looks like the Conservation District has gotten additional funds. I hope that's for future collections because I think it's needed. I was in a long line, but was pleasantly surprised to find the line moved rather quickly. So they're very well organized. Credit to the Conservation District.
Thank you, Commissioner Jelezinski. Commissioner Engler.
Yeah, I think we're actually planning on at least 2 more of those and 2 more tires. So for the upcoming year. So Everybody seems to be supportive of it. And we're actually trying to get some more people to fund our grant. So yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, Jerry.
Commissioner Marino, you had your thumbs up. Do you have? Yeah, okay, I'll take that as a no, you're muted, so I couldn't get you. So, all right, any other commission, clerk Lux?
Real quick, I know you've been waiting for this answer. CPL fingerprinting will start June 21st. Thursday, they're going to come in and work with IT. We'll get all set up. So June 21st will be the first date that we will be able to start fingerprinting. And secondly, real quick, the ballots are printed and on their way to the township clerks. Our deadline was June 19th and we made it. So we're all set with the ballots.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for that update very much. Any other commissioners, please? Hearing and seeing none. It's been a long day and we've got further business ongoing, so I'm not going to make any earth-shattering announcements here. So with that, I'm going to close the announcement portions of our meeting and move into the closed session component. So I would take it from here. I would like to invite Alan Vanderland and Treasurer Steve Pickens, and along with any, correct? And then clerk, whoever else normally goes in with us. So, so can I get a motion, please, to move into closed session? Commissioner Jalazinski.
I'll move to enter into closed session under Section 8E of the Open Meetings Act to consult with attorney regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with Michael Pung as personal representative of the estate of Timothy Scott Pung versus Peter Kopke, Patricia DePriest, and Steve Pickens.
Support, Marino.
We have a motion and support to move to enter into a closed session. Further discussion. Hearing and seeing none, clerk Lux.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Swaney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jalazinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, clerk Lux. We are now going to go into closed session. So everybody, please follow the instructions. Okay, I believe we are now back in live, our regular board meeting at the very end of it, after we've moved out of closed session. Just to remind everybody, everyone except Commissioner Engler's, Commissioner Moreno just muted themselves, so that's good. Margaret, do we have a motion prepared for the county, for the board, or how are we going to do? Or am I going to throw this to Vice Chairman Hope?
I would recommend that someone make a motion to accept the recommendation of our legal counsel.
Vice Chairman Hope, if you would make that recommendation, please.
I will. I'll
motion.
make a motion that we accept the advice of our legal counsel.
Support.
Joe
Marino.
Lozinski.
All right, I'm gonna give that one to Jim. We have a motion by Commissioner Hope and a support by Commissioner Moreno. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Clerk Lux, a roll call vote and you are muted.
Sorry, trying to keep up here right in this. Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Hope,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jagodzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton.
Yes.
Votes cast 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Clerk Lux. That brings us out of the closed session. And at that topic under 13, we move to section 14 of the agenda, adjournment. Can I get a motion of adjournment, please?
So move, Joe Lozinski.
Support. Marino.
I'm going to give a motion to Commissioner Jelazinski and a support to Commissioner Hope. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, at 8:48 p.m. Everyone have a nice evening.
Night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Aye.
Hello? Just getting out of it.